Yesterday, I talked about the three simple mistakes that could be stealing your happiness and success. Today, I'm going to talk about how to let go of the anger, sadness, resentment, negative emotional energy from your past so that you can move forward without emotional blocks, be happy and successful, and build the business that you want. Hey everyone, welcome back. Mike Sutton here with BeBuildHave.com. I work with first generation business leaders who are getting burnout on the doing and are ready to just start being happy and successful in their businesses. Now, you may have read, heard, been told in the past that the key to not being affected by negative emotional energy is to let go of it. And that sounds simple. It sounds like good advice. It probably feels right, but there's always that question of, okay, but how do I do that? My wife and I always used to joke, well, how do I let go of this pain that I'm holding on to? And we'd always answer, well, it's easy. You just let go. And in a way, it is that easy. But again, if you try to go through that process, you might find that it's not as easy as it sounds. The metaphor is if you're holding on to something in your hand and you let it go, it's effortless to just relax your grip and let the thing that you're holding on to fall from your hands. But even in that example, by demonstrating that, I'm still kind of showing you that the way to let go is to extend your fingers and loosen the grip and have your palm facing downwards, and gravity will do its job. So what's the emotional equivalent? How do I let go of something emotional? So I'm going to give you a couple steps, but the thing to start with is to know that the emotion is there to do a job, and it's trying to do its job. And the problem is that you're getting in the way, preventing the emotion from doing its job, or potentially misinterpreting what the emotion is trying to tell you. And the emotion doesn't just kind of disappear into the ether if it's not allowed to do the job. And so this is why it's a blockage. You're feeling anger, you're feeling sorrow, you're feeling fear, you're feeling something, and it's stuck. It's trying to do its job and it can't. And so the key here to letting go is to let it do its job. And the first step is to acknowledge and recognize that you are experiencing that emotion, whatever it is, fear, anger, hurt, and that you're experiencing it because something did have an impact on you. Something did cause some damage to you. And it might not be what you think it is in the present moment, but something happened that created this blockage. And so the first step is to acknowledge that, and that you are feeling it. And for a long time I would have said, no, I'm not an angry person. I mean, I get frustrated when things don't go my way. But at the same time, I knew I was depressed. I knew I would overreact or underreact emotionally in a lot of situations. I knew I wasn't processing the emotion in a healthy way, but it didn't feel like anger to me. I didn't recognize it as anger. And it really took some soul searching to be able to acknowledge that, oh yeah, it really is a lot of anger that I'm holding on to. Second step is to allow yourself to feel that emotion. Part of that denial that I just described for myself with respect to anger was that I didn't want to let myself feel the anger that was there. And I definitely didn't want to let myself feel the hurt that was underneath that anger. So I pushed it down, repressed it, let it just swirl around and show up as sarcasm and sniping and depression and frustration and anxiety and doubt and fear. But it was all the anger that I was trying to hold down, it was trying to leak out. And so allowing yourself to feel that emotion is a critically important second step in letting go of it. Third step is to invite it in fully. Instead of pushing it down, invite it to come up, to grow, to expand. Invite it in so that you can go to the fourth step, which is to fully face this uncomfortable, painful, unpleasant emotion. Allow it to do what it needs to do. So it doesn't just gently pass away, It might be an explosion. It might be a boiling over. It might be incredibly painful to feel it, but you have to allow yourself to fully face and experience that emotion, allow it to do its job so that it can pass through you and move on, and you don't have to carry it around anymore. If you're carrying it around, pushing it down because you don't want to face it, it's still there, it's still affecting you. And it's going to continue to do that until you're able to go through this process, acknowledge it, allow it in, invite it in, and then fully face the true depth of the pain there so that it can be allowed to complete its task and move on. And as I talked about a little bit in yesterday's episode, the key here is that if you're experiencing fear, shame, depression, anxiety, chronic worry and stress, self-doubt, perfectionism, any of these self-sabotaging, self-harming, damaging behaviors, addictions, at some level, they can almost always be traced back to a form of anger. And anger has a legitimate job to do. The job of anger is to destroy injustice or to prevent harm. And if it is allowed to do that, then it'll boil off, give way to sorrow. Sorrow will expose your underlying longings, and then you can return back to a state of happiness, success, and fulfillment. But if you stop up that process because you don't want to experience the anger, you don't want to face the sorrow, you don't want to acknowledge your longings, then that blockage is going to be in place. The emotions are going to be there trying to do what they do. You're fighting against them, but they're leaking out in all these different ways that you can't control or predict or do anything about, and they're sabotaging you. And you end up feeling frustrated, depressed, anxious. But the key is to go through this process, acknowledge the emotion, allow them in, invite them to do their job, and fully face that pain and discomfort of what you've been holding on to. And that's the process. If this is the process that you're going through, again, there might be more questions. This is what I work on with my coaching clients. This is why I do the episode. So if you like the message, share it on Facebook or Twitter. Reach out to me directly through the website, bebuildhave.com, if you've got questions. You might enjoy my 20-minute free guided meditation, which you can find at bebuildhave.com/meditate, where I really help you to connect with and increase the positive emotional energy that's going to help you to be more confident, be a better leader, be a better problem solver, and really just be more productive and effective in your business. If that's something you're interested in, again, you can head over to bebuildhave.com/meditate. Download that directly to your PC or phone. You can use it anytime, anywhere, not while you're driving, please. And if you enjoyed the show, please share it on Facebook or Twitter. And until we speak again, be the person, build the business, and have the successful life that you want.